Okay, making some headway here on the Jacobsen. Then I got to the part where I had to wire it up. And then I realized that this one had this low amperage alternator on it, where one wire's got a diode built into it, which just fell off because I chopped it off. One side had diode in it for the charging of the battery, and the other wire was for the headlights, AC voltage, which means when it's idling, the headlights real dim, and then when you rev the motor up, all the lights get real bright. And sometimes they get so bright that they burns the bulbs out, and I didn't want that. So, luckily, Kohler uses the same alternators on their commands that they did on this old K-series cast iron motor. So I went out in the junkyard and I sourced me up a alternator, 20 amp alternator off a Kohler command. And then I put that on. But with that low amperage alternator, they also leave a magnet out of the ring. So there was a magnet missing. Now it probably would have worked, but it probably wouldn't have worked as good. So I went out again in the junkyard and I had some flywheels and I pried on some of them and I got some that were loose. But I also had to make sure the polarity was right. Now I got a video that shows you how to glue these magnets in and how to check the polarity. So I found the right polarity magnet and then I JB welded it into this flywheel. So now I got a higher amp alternator that I could use voltage regulator on, which I'm probably going to mount right here. I'm going to cut into this plate because see, this has got cooling fins on it. It's supposed to have air running past that because it gets hot. A couple other things I had to do. I had to take the coil, which was mounted back here, and mount it up front. It's going to be mounted up here. And I was waiting for my Transdensers, which came today from Kirk Engineering. You know who makes these? Captain Kirk from the Enterprise, because this is space age technology right here. This is as close to electronic ignition you're going to have on one of these Kohlers. This is battery ignition, which means you got to have 12 volts to run the ignition. So I got me one of these Transdensers. I bought 2 of them. So I got to hook that up. There's a little light inside there, like a timing light. I'll show you that when I get ready to install that. Took carburetor apart, bead blasted it, cleaned it, put a kit in it, had to put a new float bowl, and here's my little patented vacuum operated fuel pump. I got a video on this too. So I don't know if Mr. Cameraman can get in there with the light. Not really. We need a better light, cameraman. Boy, you are a crappy cameraman. I'm doing all this work for you. Took off that mechanical fuel pump, made this plate with a fitting on it, which is going to pick up crankcase pressure off the engine block, which is going to make the pump pump. And then that pump will be mounted over here on the blower shroud. So you could do this to any Kohler that's got a mechanical pump. A mechanical pump is a pump that mechanically works. Something that pushes on it mechanically to make it pump. Anywhere you can pick up crankcase pressure, as long as it's above the oil level, you can make one of these vacuum operated pumps work, and it works really well. I already had this engine running, it ran. I drove this thing a little bit forward and back because it got no muffin on it. So now, got a hold of my friends at the auto parts store, got me a couple 1.5 inch little 90s here, which I already cut. I cut this one down and I cut this, and I made a little sleeve out of regular like schedule 40 pipe, steel pipe. I had to sand it out to fit over this manifold. And I found me another piece of black pipe, which I bead blasted. This looks like 1.25 inches maybe. that fits nice in there. Nice and tight. So I'm going to weld that into that Harley muffler. And then I'm going to weld this all together now. Like this. I'll have this all twisted and turned. Like so. I'll weld that right in real nice. That'll be my muffin. You'll see. Looks kind of janky right now, but I'll have it all dialed in. Next time you see it, it'll be all welded in. Got my key switch and everything hooked up. Here's my key switch and my light switch. I want to keep all the electrical underneath here where the battery is and the gas tank, so that way it'll blow up and blow me off the seat. Nah, you can have the gas tank near the battery. Ain't gonna blow up. I didn't want to put any electrical or anything on this belt guard, because when I want to access the belts, I want to just be able to take this cover off. I don't want to have to be messing around, disconnecting cables and so forth. So that way I'm protected from the belt while I'm sitting here, and I don't need a choke cable. I can just reach over and choke it. So we're making headway. Keep watching. We're getting closer and closer. We're going to be driving this thing soon. Okay, we got everything ready but the lights. So I just want to go over a few things. Got the muffin all welded in. There I am. Custom Taryl guard on there. Got my Model A tail lights mounted. I just got to hook them up. All I got to do is run some wires. Got one on each side. Put some new boots on it. Them other tires are all dry rotted. I got to put one on the front yet. I got that one. I'll do that tomorrow. So we're ready. Take her for a spin. Let's go for a ride. See what this baby will do. Mr. Cameraman, we're getting pretty close to crunch time here. Get this cart ready for Portland, and I think I came up with a solution for the seats. Tell me if you like this. I think I'm going to span this board across here and put 3 seats on it. Will that work? Will that work for you? What's that? You're concerned about what? You need something to hold on to. Well, I'm going to have the tailgate back on here for your back. What's that? That ain't going to help you with the forward? I got you covered. I'm going to chop up Junior's bed frame here. Don't tell Junior I took his bed frame. I'm going to chop this up and I'm going to make a bar to go across here. So you can, while you're sitting in here, Mr. Cameraman, you'll have a bar to hold on to. So when whoever's driving it, you know, if you're going back and forth, you'll have something to hold on to. And in that way, me and Slippers and Junior can also ride back here. And then I'm going to make this so it's removable. I'll make it so we can quickly take this off and take the bar off. Does that sound good to you, Mr. Cameraman? And then, you know, we were test driving it, Mr. Cameraman, and you saw that, and we broke it. We broke the chain. And I noticed that this sprocket is all wore out. So I got new bearings in the sprocket coming. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll get here this week because it's Monday and we are leaving for Portland on Friday. And them parts better get here. So stay tuned.